So you may be looking at your email and thinking that, yeah, the contact lists are good. You can send a group of people easily enough, and labels are nice because you can apply those to messages either automatically or manually as they come in, so you can kind of group and organize them. But there's no built-in feature at the moment to label email based on a list that you've created. So labeling email based on anybody who might be on that list when they do in fact send a message to you. But there is a way to create a filter that will utilize a list of names and actually label them automatically for you. It just takes a little bit of jumping through a couple hoops here to make it happen. So we can do that, and we're going to take a look here, starting with my email. So if I want to send an email, say, to all the superintendents, if that was the group I wanted to kind of highlight, then certainly I could hit compose and I could start writing that message. But I want a label that's going to do this all the time. So I'm going to go over to my contacts here. Now you can find that by clicking the little cluster of dots or squares in the corner there and coming down and finding your contacts group. When you go to your contacts, you may have a pile in your own contacts. These will likely be any people that you have messaged in the last year or two. They get automatically added to your own contacts, and then the directory has everybody else. So what I'm going to do first is look at my labels over on the left here and create myself a new label. So I'll call that the Supers 2019. Save it. Cool. So I will look for the first person on the list. That'll be Dave Golden. And when I see his name popping up here, I'm going to click that. I'm going to choose the three dots over at the side, and I'm going to choose the supers list I just made. I can come right back up to my search, find the next person here. Paul, click him. Three dots, and list. Cool. Clicking anywhere off of that space into this sort of gray zone will make that disappear, and then one more to be completely gone. Next, I'm going to look for Jennifer. Ooh, did I mess it up? There she is. Jennifer Johnson. I can click that. Perfect. I can hit the three dots and supers. 1, 2, search. And the last one, Catherine. I'll click on her, three dots, and add it to my list. So, with my list created, I can see that over on the side here, I've got my supers, and there's all 4 of them. Now, if I needed to email these guys, when you come and hover here, you can click the first person, and you get this little selection box at the top. So I could go all, and I could hit email, and that would fire up a new email for me. But that's only for sending to these people. I want to label emails that come in from them. So I'm going to delete that. I am going to go back to my email for a moment, because one thing I could do when I'm ready to send to them, if I come to my email, is I compose this message, and I just start typing the name of that list that I've created. Sometimes it takes a few minutes to populate. This one happened nice and quick, so I can click on it, and it will dump all the names directly into there. Now, what I need to do is copy and paste these names. I need to be able to do some editing here. So I'm going to use a couple different shortcut keys here, because it doesn't give you obvious options here. I'm going to have to use Control A, which is select. There we go, select all. Then I'm going to use Control C for copy. And finally, I'll end up using Control and V for paste. So I click up in here, and you can see these names change to just names. I don't really see the email address other than Dave here for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and say Control A. I can see these all get a little bit gray. So they've been selected. I'm going to use Control C for copy. And just to show you what's going on, I'll come down into the message here and use Control V to paste. So there's the addresses. Full names inside brackets with full email addresses. Now, I need to mess with that. I need to edit that. So what I'm going to do is jump into a document real quick. I'm going to go to Drive, which I have open here anyway. I'm going to say New Document. And I'm not going to keep this document. This is a temporary thing. But it means I can come in here and paste. Now there's 2 problems with these addresses. One, is that when I paste them in for my filter, the comma is not going to work. I need to replace that with or, and these names that preface the actual address aren't going to work either. So I'm simply going to delete those right now. Highlight, delete, highlight, delete, highlight, delete. Done. Okay. Now, this could be a lot of names. So that deleting, in theory, could have taken me a couple of minutes to get through. I don't want to have to do that all over again for these commas. So I'm going to use Edit and use my Find and Replace option. I'm going to look for the comma and replace it with or and replace all. That way, when the filter is looking at these email addresses, it's not looking for and. Oh, I missed that one for some reason. There we go. It is going to say, I'm looking for this address, or this address, or this address, and then continue down the line that way. So now I can highlight these and copy them. I am going to come back now to my email where all of the filtering happens. I'm ready to delete this message. I don't need it for anything, so discard draft. And I'll create my filter. So the filter is what automatically looks at messages, and in this case is going to be able to apply a label to it right away. Click my gear. Or actually, sorry, even quicker than that. Let's use the box up at the top here, because when I hit the little arrow at the end, I can search for all kinds of things. Well, I'm going to be searching from, and I paste in my or addresses. And at the bottom, instead of searching, I will create a filter. And I'm going to apply the label, which I don't have yet, so I'll make a new label called Supers 2019, just like the label I created over in my contacts, so they match. They don't need to, but it just makes things easier. Create. And I can come down here, and I can also apply it to the 32 matching conversations. So in my Gmail, I've got 32 other emails from these people. And I can say create filter. There. That means I should now have a Supers filter over here, 2019, that when I click on, I'm going to see a batch of messages from all these different people. It also means that as I receive messages from those people, the Supers label is going to automatically apply. So just to make that stand out a little bit more, what I can do is come to this label, hit the little three dots that I see popping up next to it, and I can add a label color. So I'll give them, I don't know, orange. And that way I'll see a little bit of color pop up on my inbox when I eventually have that message come in, and I automatically apply a label from that list. Now the list is not connected, obviously. I had to copy and paste those addresses from one place to another. So if I update the contacts list over in my contacts, I will have to also go and update the filter if I'm adding and removing names. But that is one way that you can go ahead and create a contacts list and then also take those same names and automatically apply labels.